Hello fashion lovers, welcome to today's episode. We are still on the principles of cutting, but today we are going to focus more on adding fullness. When we talk about adding fullness, we mean when you have excess fabric to add to maybe a dress. It can be garters like this, it can be pleats, it can be flare. So we are going to learn how to cut garters by the freehand method. When you want to cut garters, mostly depends on how you want the garters to be, whether you want a very light garters, not too much, or you want the garters to be in more. You decide which one you want. Mostly if you want it on the waist as a dress, most people want it more garters inside. If you want it on the sleeve, you decide whether you want it more or less. This is the less type, and this is the more when you pull more. So we are going to learn how to cut the less type and how to cut the more garters. This, for example, is a piece of fabric. We are going to measure. We have 15 in width by 9 inches in length. I've already done the 2 rows of garters. Later I'll teach you how to stitch the garters. This is just for cutting. So this is 15 by 9. So if you want more garters, you are going to divide what you cut by 3. If you want more garters in your dress, where you focus on where you are going to fix the garters. Is it the waist, or is it on the sleeve, or is it on your wrist, on your neck? So where you want to fix the garters, take the measurement. So if it's the waist, you take your waist. Mine is 31 inches. So 31 inches. If I want more garters, I'm going to multiply it by 3. If I want less garters, I'm going to multiply it by 2. This is 15 inches by 9. So I gathered this to 5 inches. That means 3 times what I cut. And you see you have more garters inside. If you want it less, that means the 15 divided by 2, which is 7.5, to get this, and it's less. So if you want to cut your garters, always determine where you are going to put it. Multiply it by either 3 or 2. If it's 2, you get less garters in it. If it's times 3, you get more garters. So if it's the sleeve and your around arm is 12 inches, just multiply by 3, 12 times 3. If you want less garters, 12 times 2, by the length you want. Don't forget, when you are cutting the length, always add allowance. So if I want 7 inches in length, I've added about 2 inches to enable me join it to where I want to join and also finish the hair. So that is for garters. When you want to cut pleats, it also applies to pleats. Pleats also is a form of adding fullness. So when you want to cut the pleat, also cut 3 times where you want to fix the pleat. If it's the waist and the waist is 30, multiply by 3, which is about 90, then add about 10 inches allowance, because pleats, you need allowance to shape. So this I've already cut. Let me measure. This is 36 inches. 36 inches by 14 in length. That's what I cut. So if I wanted, let's say, a waist of 10, or my round arm is 10 and I want to do pleats, and I want more pleats inside, I multiplied it by 3 and I added, let's say, 8 inches, because it's 36, so I added about 6 inches and I want just 10. So I multiplied the 10 by 3 and I got 30 plus the 6 inches. Depending on the size of pleat you want, you fold into 2 and just mark the middle. When you mark the middle, just make a line to just for everybody to know this is the middle. If you want a 4 inches pleat or 2 inches pleat, depend on what size of pleat you want, put the tape measure in the middle. This one I've already marked 2 inches. 2 inches mark on the fabric. From here to here to is 2 inches each. 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches. I've already marked. You mark the same thing on the hem of the fabric. So it's 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches throughout. On the left 2 inches, and on the top 2 inches, 2 inches each. This time, I'm going to show you how to do the knife pleat. The knife pleat, when you mark, you can start from the middle, hold it like this. If you want more pleats, because we multiplied it by 3, so you are going to skip the middle. You are going to skip the middle mark, then place it on the next mark. So make sure you skip the middle, then you place it. Then you take your pins. Make sure when you are pinning, you pin the mark on the points to each other. For a knife pleat, all the pleats go in one direction. So since this one is going in this direction, I'll take the next point, skip the next one, then put it on the next point. This is the knife pleat. So I'm going to take the next point again, then skip, then put it on the next point. When you want to add more pleats, more fullness, you skip a point. The other half, I'm not going to skip a point so that you see how it will look like. So this is one side. Knife pleats all goes in the same direction. So I'm going to, this time, instead of holding this to skip to get the next, I'm not going to skip it so that you see the difference when you don't skip. From here, I just take the next point and put it on the next one without skipping. Then you pin. It will all give you the same results, but the fullness will be different. So I'm going to take this, just put it on the next point. If I was doing the fullness one with more pleats, I'll take this, skip this one and put on this one. But this one, I'm just going to put it on the next point without skipping. So take the next one and skip and put on the next point. So you realize that when you look at the both pleats, this one has more fullness because we skipped the point, and this one has less. They all give you the same knife pleats, but the more fullness you want, the more, when you skip, to give you a much better fullness. So this is the knife pleat, either with the skipping point or with the no skipping. It will give you the same pleats, but one, if you skip, it will give you more fullness. Thank you for joining us on today's episode. I hope you learned something today. If you have any questions, drop it in the comment section below or contact us on the number on the screen. If you want to join the Knaspa training, take the number on the screen and contact us for more information. Don't forget to subscribe, like, or share. Join us in the next episode. Thank you.